I've heard it said that motherhood is sanctifying. Actually, I didn't so much hear it as see it on an Instagram hashtag, like hashtag motherhood is sanctifying. So then I had to look up the word sanctifying because I wasn't sure if maybe what they really meant was exhausting. I have not opened a dictionary in years because I've been very busy cleaning sweet potato puree off of random surfaces in my house. Did you know that if left to harden, sweet potato puree is basically impossible to remove? Personally, I recommend just painting right over it and calling it a texture treatment. I know, it really is amazing that I don't have my own show on HGTV. One morning, after seeing that hashtag, however, I dusted off the dictionary and opened it up to find the meaning of the word sanctified, which is just solid proof that social media can be completely edifying. The word sanctification means to set apart as sacred, to consecrate. It means to render binding. It means to entitle to reverence and to make productive of a blessing. So yeah, motherhood is sanctifying. Like how this one time when my daughter was about 2 years old, I was trying to impress the importance of the Advent on her, handing her shiny ball ornaments depicting the scenes of the Christmas story and directing her to hang them on the tree. I explained the centuries-old sentiment behind the story with a deep reverence and reveled in the sweet, sacred moment we were sharing. She looked at the ornaments with awe and wonder and began shouting joyous proclamations. She gleefully yelled, "A ball! I throw it!" And then she hurled it down the stairwell. Or there was that time that I read all about how being a good parent meant teaching your child the proper names for all of their private body parts. And then immediately after that anatomy lesson, we went to the grocery store. Whereupon my 2-year-old proceeded to recount said lesson in great detail to the teenage boy bagging our groceries. It was exactly as awkward as you would think it might be, and then even more awkward than that. And there was also this one time where I was slightly distracted as Scarlett came running and giggling and wiping water on my arm every few minutes. And then I sat stricken in terror as I contemplated all the places in our house that held water she could reach. So I hesitantly asked her to show me the source of the water, and she led me straight to her potty chair. She looked at me sweetly and said, "See, I tinkle. I da tinkle water onto mommy." And this is why I don't have a beautifully spiritual Instagram account. Because while other people are photographing their children running gracefully through sunflower fields, I am busy being baptized in toilet water. With my daughter born weighing just 1.5 pounds and delivered straight to the NICU, motherhood for me came with a stripping away of control, and it has continued in that vein ever since. I imagined that my daughter would be a miniature version of myself as a little girl. Quiet and complacent and never the source of any trouble. You could often find me hidden away in my closet reading the latest Babysitter's Club book by flashlight. Actually, you can still find me doing that. Anne M. Martin is dibbly fresh. Instead, we have Scarlett, a feisty, fearless, outspoken girl who charms everyone she meets. Early on, when Scarlett was still in critical condition, we watched her bat a tiny fist furiously against a nurse's hand. And the nurse looked at me over the top of the incubator and remarked that if Scarlett survived, she would bet money that she was going to be a spitfire in her toddler years. And if those were Vegas odds, that nurse could have retired on them. The toddler years have driven me straight to the book of Proverbs, because it's the one that's supposed to hold all the wisdom. I have no idea what I'm doing, so this seems like a good place to start. A mother's teaching, it says, will be a garland of grace. None of this effort is wasted, from the first pangs of birthing labor to the sacred labor of shaping a spirited soul without breaking it. Plus, there's the high probability that I will quote this to her often in her teenage years. No, you cannot stay out past 11 because the Bible says do not reject your mother's teaching. That's totally in context. I don't want her to run wild, but to run wildly from a wellspring of desire to follow hard after whatever she finds herself passionate about and a deep love for others. I want to raise Scarlett to see the beauty in the ordinary, to know how to look a bit closer and find the miracle in the mundane. I want her to find a life that is wide with grace, and I want my daughter to seek it because she sees sincerity in how her mother lives it. Scarlett's Sunday school teacher told me that Scarlett's recent contribution to class was, "You mean Jesus doesn't live in my mommy's underwear drawer?" So I think I'm definitely nailing that.